Hello and thanks for joining me. Today we're looking at a channel called Middle Nation, which appears to be the work of a single guy, a Muslim theologian/apologist. He formerly called his channel Qawwamun, and as with any term in Arabic, there's a good chance I'm mispronouncing this one, so I ask your patience with any mistakes I make. Qawwamun, as far as I can tell, means something like caretakers. It's most notable for its appearance in the Qur'an, Surah 434. Men are caretakers of women because of that through which Allah has favored one over another, and because of what they spent of their property. In some translations it says men are in charge of women. If there's another significant use of the word Qawwamun in the Qur'an, I haven't found it. He maintains a playlist of videos from the Qawwamun era, and scrolling through the list and stopping at random, I found videos like how to make your husband happy, disciplining a wife, checking the wife's phone, and true submission versus helplessness. If you're waiting for me to add some context to reassure you that it's not what it sounds like, there is none. It is what it sounds like.
Your husband has to keep a watch on that, just like he has to keep a watch on the door. On your actual comings and goings, that's your husband's business. Well, your phone is how you can come and go while staying at home. So of course he has a right to check, and of course he should check, and you shouldn't be mad about that.
You've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it.
Anyway, he did give up that handle and now calls his channel Middle Nation, which may also have some theological significance to his particular brand of Islam. But if that's the case,
to tell you the truth, I don't give a shit.
I'm looking at what he has to say about atheists. We're looking at a video called Atheists' Lazy Delusions of Grandeur. The description says, atheists, in my opinion, are among the most intellectually lazy and unqualified people to pontificate about morality and the human condition walking on the earth. Considering who the "my" refers to in my opinion, I'm pretty sure I'm doing something right.
Well, I mean, being an atheist isn't something that I would ever need to know.
I kinda sympathize with this. When people wear crucifixes around their neck inside their shirt, it's because their faith is personally very meaningful to them. When they wear crucifixes outside their shirt, it's because they want everyone into whose eye line they walk to be aware that they are a Christian. Why do I need to know that? The few friendly neighborhood atheist t-shirts you see here and there are, if anything, a response to that sort of culture.
You don't assert disbelief in something for no reason. It's not like if say you're a vegan or something like that, or you're a vegetarian, or you're a Muslim, or you're a Jew, to where, we can't invite so-and-so to the barbecue because he doesn't believe in God. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. If I'm throwing a barbecue and I have a vegan or a Muslim friend whom I care about enough to want them to be there, I'll have dietary options for them. Why wouldn't I? By the way, why does your video look so dirty and grainy? The description also says that this was recorded during a conversation you had. It doesn't say with whom you had the conversation or under what circumstances, but I think if you'd had it back in the 1970s or during a dust storm, you would have mentioned that. What's the point in making your footage look like that?
So it's not something that would come up unless you are an evangelical atheist, meaning you're trying to convince people against the belief in God.
Outside of this YouTube channel, the only time I ever mention my atheism is when I'm asked. So I guess that doesn't make me an evangelical atheist by your standard. So are you consistent in your frowning upon evangelism, or is it just atheistic evangelism that you frown upon?
I mean, like, if you're an agnostic, I can have some degree of respect for you. There's some hope for you. In some way, you are searching.
First of all, agnostic doesn't mean not an atheist. It doesn't indicate whether you have a belief about whether God exists. You either do or you don't. It indicates that you believe that whether God exists cannot be known. Most agnostics are atheists. Some agnostics are theists. Many people prefer to self-identify as agnostics, but they still either believe in a God or they don't. Second, just because one is an agnostic by either of our definitions doesn't mean one is searching, as you put it, for the answer on whether or not God exists. I have no idea whether there are more or fewer than 1 trillion planets in the Milky Way galaxy, and I am not searching for the answer to that question.
Like, that's the more scientific of the two options, to be agnostic, meaning I'm not sure, I don't believe that it's been proven, so I don't really have a position on God because I don't know. That's more scientific. That's a more rational position to take than an atheist.
If I'm an atheist who does have a position on God, then I'm in the exact same position as you are. Neither of us are searching, as you put it. Both of us are done searching. We both think we have the answer. So how are you not irrational? How are you not unscientific?
If you're atheist already, it tells me you're an irrational person. And you have generally a shallow intellect. These are the most shallow-minded, simple-minded people that you will come across. Far, far more simple-minded than religious people. Far more narrow-minded, far more shallow-minded than religious people, and more so than agnostics.
So, there were a few jump cuts in that last segment, meaning he cut out pauses or he cut out things which he felt were not worth mentioning, which means the only statements of value in that segment were, hey, atheists are irrational, shallow-minded, simple-minded, narrow-minded. I don't know how long the uncut part of that conversation was, 30 seconds or 5 minutes, but those are the parts he felt needed to be preserved for the sake of this video. Shallow-minded, simple-minded, narrow-minded. I'm wondering, did his interlocutor, the person he's having the conversation with, did they ask him to just call atheists names for a little while? Was that barrage of insults solicited by someone? Because if you're just chewing the fat with someone and you spend 30 seconds doing nothing but calling atheists names, then that's something that might naturally happen in a conversation, assuming you're a particular kind of person. But if you're preserving portions of this conversation for a video, and only portions of it, meaning you're choosing what to leave out and what to put in, and you choose to put in the empty insults, and you're choosing to cut out everything, whether it's a pause in speech or talking about something else that interferes with the empty insults?
If you are arguing against religion and you're arguing against the existence of God, you're an evangelical atheist, meaning you are turning what is a lack of belief in something into a belief in the non-existence of God.
If you understand the difference between positive and negative atheism, between a belief in the non-existence of God and a lack of belief in the existence of God, then you have no business saying that agnosticism is a rational alternative to atheism.
And you're pushing that, and you're arguing with people, and you're debating with people. You look for every opportunity to criticize and denigrate religion and religious values.
I have had so many opportunities to denigrate religion and religious values, in particular your particular brand of religion and religious values, just in the couple minutes of footage we've looked at so far. I haven't taken most of them. Would you rather I did? Would you feel better if I conformed to your straw man? And even at the beginning, when I talked about your religious attitudes towards women, I was operating under the assumption that yours is not a mainstream sort of Islam, but an idiosyncratic sort of Islam, a kind that you and maybe a few others practice. If you tell me I'm wrong, I'll believe you. But then you won't get to complain when we criticize Islam and Islamic values.
What that tells me is not so much that you disbelieve in God, but you want to be God.
Nobody in their right mind wants to be God. Sure, it sounds great to have all the power, but who wants to be aware every second of every day what every single human is doing in their bedroom? That sounds like hell to me. If God did exist, I'd feel pretty sorry for him.
You want to take away religion so that you can replace it with your own moral code of your own conception.
No God worthy of the name is requiring you to be an ass. You have chosen that for yourself.
You want to replace what human beings have been following and the basis for moral values since the beginning of the human race. Since we had cognition, our moral values and the codes of behavior that we follow have been based on religion, have originated from and emerged from and been codified by religion.
We don't know what the first religion was. It's probably lost in the mists of human prehistory. But we have absolutely no reason to think that the first religion predated the first moral belief. We have no reason to think that until someone said, hey, great and powerful man in the sky will beat you with lightning club if you keep killing each other, people thought it was okay to kill each other. Research has shown that many animals do have a sense of what is and is not moral, and there is nothing to indicate that animals have religion.
This is Una the guinea pig here to tell you that Daddy was wrong just now. It's not true that animals don't have religion. We do have religion, and that religion is noms. We love all kinds of nums. Hay nums, pellet nums, treat nums. We especially love treat nums. And, of course, carrot nums. Oh, we love carrot nums. Where are the carrot nums, Daddy? Daddy, I want carrot nums. Where are the what's this? Daddy, I don't know what's worse, the fact that you're giving me a sealed can of nums, or that it's diet. What's wrong with you? You know what? Whatever, just go back to the video.
Morality does not come from religion. It may be the other way around, it may not. Perhaps religion was inevitable in a certain period of our historical development. Perhaps it's still inevitable today. But there's no reason to think that it will always be so.
And now you want to dissolve all of that and replace it with something that you come up with. Meaning you want to, it's not that you don't believe in God, it's that you want to replace God with you.
If God told you to kill a bunch of children, would you do it? If yes, you don't get to talk about morals. If no, you don't get to say morals come from God.
And they always make the argument that you can be a moral person and you can have moral values and not believe in God. You can be moral without religion. Okay, well, first of all, that is an unproven hypothesis.
Hi, I'm David John Wellman. Now it's proven.
And the evidence that we do have contradicts that. Because look at the atheists, the most well-known atheists that we have. You say Sam Harris, you say Daniel Dennett, you say Richard Dawkins, you say Lawrence Krauss, that we don't need religion in order to be moral. But to a man, all of these people were involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Every single one of them.
If anything, your statement proves that atheists are not only moral, but, going from the single example of yourself, more moral than theists. Because if we have the capacity for reason, and if we are morally obligated to consistently use this capacity for reason, then surely we have a moral obligation to reject and to refrain from proliferating bullshit conspiracy theories. You are accepting and you are spreading bullshit conspiracy theories. I know Krauss and Pinker were friendly with Epstein, and certainly Krauss has had problems of his own, but there is no evidence, at least not that I know of, that any of them took part in Epstein's crimes.
So where's your morality? Now tell me about your moral code that your science and your atheism has been able to come up with.
You're spreading bullshit, I'm rejecting it. That's what you and I, respectively, have been able to come up with.
Show me a snapshot, because we've got pictures of these people with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, we've got pictures. We've got pictures of public figures standing next to other public figures. Well, shit. That changes everything.
Show me a picture of a public figure, a Muslim public figure, who's in a snapshot with Jeffrey Epstein.
If by Jeffrey Epstein you mean any sexual predator, then here you go. Here's a Muslim public figure in a snapshot with a sexual predator. Because he is the sexual predator. Get it? This is Ahmet Yusaturk, formerly the imam from the International Islamic Center at JFK Airport in New York, and he was busted last year for the attempted rape of a 14-year-old girl. Here's another one. Mohammed Masroor, an imam who was convicted in Detroit in 2014 on 15 counts of sexually abusing his nieces when they were children. Here's yet another one. Mohammed Haji Sadiq, an imam in Cardiff, convicted in 2017 of molesting young girls in his mosque. I could go on at length. And of course I could go on at length about members of the clergy from other religions. But if appearing in a picture specifically with Jeffrey Epstein is what counts, then, once again, hi, I'm David John Wellman. I'm an atheist moralist who has never appeared in a picture with Jeffrey Epstein. Deal with me. So the moral here, if you'll pardon the expression, is that attacking atheists is pointless, for the same reason attacking Christians or Muslims is pointless. Even if you preface your attack with, not all members of X, but most of them do this, this, and this, you're always going to find some members who don't, and you're going to have to deal with them. Because those few exceptions will probably agree with you that their fellow members of X do this, this, and this, which means the way in which X is implemented in the world needs to be reformed. X itself, meanwhile, is left unscathed, which means that your video has left atheism unscathed. We're actually going to skip to toward the end of the video to the one section where you come kinda sorta close to attacking atheism instead of atheists.
So this is a question of doing the intellectual work and trying to figure out how you can reconcile things. But atheists don't do that work. And yet they think that they can come up with a moral code that human beings can follow until the end of time. that can solve all of the problems or can guide people in the right path.
Many people believe that the Bible or the Qur'an is exactly that, a moral code that human beings can follow until the end of time that will solve all the problems. Do I need to explain to you why that's laughable? And yes, I know what I just said earlier, and I'm not attacking religion itself by attacking the fundamentalists. Rather, I'm illustrating a point. Morality is a journey that we all must take. It's not a destination to arrive at. Or, as Cory Doctorow might put it, morality isn't the kind of fight you win. It's the kind of fight you fight.
I mean, Sam Harris comes up with something brilliant, like it should be to serve the well-being of the most people and to try to eliminate as much misery as possible. Well, thank you, genius. That's so helpful and so specific and so not subject to interpretation and misinterpretation and subjectivity and selfish warping of what that might mean.
As opposed to the Quran, which is in no way, shape, or form subject to interpretation and misinterpretation and subjectivity and selfish warping of what that might mean. And yet, when it comes to attacking atheism instead of atheists, that's all he's got. Pretty much everything else in the video is just more of the same, so we'll skip to the end.
Now, the atheists have nothing to offer. I can't take you seriously if you are someone who's pronouncing that you're an atheist. Now, if you're quietly an atheist because you just don't believe in your own way, you've reached that conclusion, fine. I don't respect that conclusion. I don't respect your mind for having reached that conclusion, and I think that you're intellectually lazy. But I don't need to hear about it. If you have any sense at all, then you won't talk about that. But if you're someone who is an evangelical atheist and is always arguing on behalf of atheism, then you're not prepared to have conversations with adult human beings.
Now, the theists have nothing to offer. I can't take you seriously if you are someone who is pronouncing that you're a theist. Because if you just believe, if you've just in your own way reached that conclusion, fine. I don't respect that conclusion, I don't respect your mind for having reached that conclusion, and I think that you're intellectually lazy. But I don't need to hear about it. If you have any sense at all, then you won't talk about that. But if you're someone who is an evangelical theist and is always arguing on behalf of theism, then you're not prepared to have conversations with adult human beings. Do you expect to be taken seriously, pal? Do you really? If you enjoyed this video and want to help my channel grow, please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. Be sure to hit the bell to be notified when a new video comes out. And if you want to share your thoughts on Middle Nation or Caretaker of Women or whatever he wants to call himself, leave a comment below. A huge thanks to my Patreon supporters. You help make this channel possible. If you'd like to become a supporter, check out the link in the description. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. I'm David John Wellman, and the rest is up to you.